In this question, we have to check if ZP is negative or not. Now, there are two ways in which we can infer if the product of Z and P is negative. One is if we know the individual nature of Z and P, and the other is if we know the nature of ZP itself. Now, since there is not much that is given in the question, let's move on to step 2 and analyze the statement 1. According to statement 1, P times Z to the power 4 is less than 0. Now what can we infer from this? From this we can say that P is negative, as Z to the power 4 will always be positive. So one thing that we can conclude from statement 1 is that the nature of P is negative. Now we just need to know the nature of Z to answer the question stem. However, Z can be positive or negative. Let us consider two cases. Where case 1, Z is positive. Suppose Z is equal to 2. So Z to the power 4 will be equal to 2 to the power 4, which is equal to 16. Now this is greater than 0 and Z is also greater than 0. Consider case 2 where Z is equal to minus 2 and this is less than 0. However, Z to the power 4 will be equal to minus 2 to the power 4, which will give us 16, which is also greater than 0. So using the information provided in statement 1, we cannot conclude if Z is positive or negative. We just know that P is negative in nature. So statement 1 is not sufficient, and out of the given options, we eliminate options A and D. We now check the sufficiency of statement 2. From statement 2, we have P plus Z to the power 4 equals 14. Now, let's take two values of Z. Suppose Z is equal to 2. Then, the equation P plus Z to the power 4 equals 14 becomes P plus 16 equals 14, or P is equal to 14 minus 16. This gives us P to be negative. Now, if we take Z to be equal to minus 1, in that case, P plus Z to the power 4 equals 14 will become P plus 1 equals 14, or P equals 14 minus 1. This gives us the value of P as 13. So, using the information provided in statement 2 as well, we cannot find out the individual nature of Z and P or the nature of the product of Z and P. So statement 2 is also not sufficient. And we move on to the last step, which is step 3, and analyze the statements together. First, let's write down whatever we had inferred from the statements. So from statement 1, we know for sure that P is negative. And from statement 2, we have no information about the nature of P or Z. We just know that P plus Z to the power 4 equals 14. Now, after combining the statements together also, there's not much that we can do, since we just know that P is negative. However, the nature of Z is still unknown. So, we cannot answer the question with a definite yes or no. Hence, the statements together are insufficient. So, the correct answer is option E.